So that has started, and we'll go ahead and go through it. I'm assuming on your screen all you can see is the PowerPoint, correct? Yeah, is that right? Okay, good. Like I was saying earlier, I don't get a chance to do Zoom teaching anymore, so I'm kind of making sure that you all only see the PowerPoint and not all of the other stuff that's up on my screen right now. But for today's collaboration station, really the focus would be on just going back and do the quick updates again, and then focusing in on some of the resources already provided from FCCLA that you can use in your classroom. I know this year is a challenging year because everything is virtual, so this is a great time for you guys to really start to look at the resources and how you can use them in your classroom to enhance student learning. So hopefully some of the things we go over today will give you guys the opportunity to think about how you can utilize FCCLA resources in your classroom with your students that you see every day instead of just after school, during after school meetings with those students. So just an overview of the different types of affiliation. We do have 4 different types this year. Typically, we just have regular affiliation and middle level affiliation, but we do have the temporary price reduction packages that are offered to you all as well. So for regular affiliation, just to recap, for a member or a student member or advisor, the total regular affiliation is $14. Regardless, it's a 12-member minimum. So you guys, if you had a chapter that had less than 12 members and you affiliated, you will be charged for 12 members. Regardless, if you, like I said, if you had 7 or 10, you're still going to be charged the 12-member minimum. Affiliations can be paid by check with your school, or you can pay via credit card. Hold on one second. This is like a time where I need more than one computer screen. Okay. So middle level affiliation is only for middle school chapters, and the only thing you have to do if you're a middle school advisor and you don't think that your chapter is already set up to do the middle level affiliation and you want to do middle level affiliation, you just need to send me an email. And I can change that for you. So for middle level affiliation, it's a $375 total flat rate fee. So that includes your national and state flat rate. And then that allows you to affiliate an unlimited number of your students that you have. And you can find more information on the membership site for North Carolina FCCLA. And when I'm scrolling through here, if you guys see a red like bolded word with underline, that's a hyperlink. So if you're going back and look at this document later and you click on it, it will take you right to those links. And then the first temporary price reduction package is the up to 20 leadership development package. This is going to allow high school chapters to affiliate up to 20 members. Middle school chapters, if you wanted to do this, you could do it as well. But the middle level affiliation might be the best route for you all. But anyway, so the up to 20 leadership package allows you to affiliate up to 20 members at the $215 flat rate fee. And then any student over 20 would go back to the regular affiliation. So it'd be $14 for their affiliation after the 20th student. These packages do not include advisor affiliation. So when you guys are using these packages, it does not include your affiliation. You will have to pay that separately. Then we have the unlimited FCS leadership development package that allows you to affiliate an unlimited number of your FCS program of study students. So basically what that means, for $600, you all can affiliate all of the students that you have on your rosters in your school for Family Consumer Science program of study this fall and the spring, as well as add any students who have completed an FCS program of study or taken one of your courses in the past. So as long as they're eligible for FCCLA membership, then you can pretty much affiliate them here. And that's a $600 total flat rate fee. I was just talking to another teacher about this earlier. If you have a CTE director, that is willing to help you guys financially with your affiliation, this will be the package that they're able to use Perkins funding for, because it allows you to affiliate all of the FCS program of study students instead of just a few. So if this is something that you're interested in and you haven't talked to your CTE director or your CDC, whichever kind of format your policy your district has of who you need to talk to, I would recommend that you talk to them about this. Once again, this package does not include advisor affiliation. And then if you're going to do this package, you all could use the CSV template. So you click on this and it will take you to the template to download to your computer. That just makes it easier for you guys to add all of your students in instead of having to input each student separately. So if you are choosing to opt into one of the temporary price reduction chapter packages, you all will need to make sure that you follow these steps. The first step is completing the request to participate survey. So if you click this link, it'll take you right to the survey. And then that's basically you just telling nationals what affiliation package you would like to use, and then they will change it on the back end. So that way when you affiliate your students, it showcases the right rate. So you're going to request to participate, then you're going to wait for the email from National stating that your request was accepted and they made the change in the chapter portal. And then once you receive that email, they should go ahead and tell you that you're able to affiliate your students. Beth, you had a question. Hold on one second. Let me pull back up in the chat, or you can say it now.
Yeah, I can just say it. So I submitted today, and when I submitted for the affiliation and the invoice, it had the advisors on there, and Joanne Honeycutt was just like, just send us the invoice. So how we're just confused about how we're going to pay for our affiliation separate.
Okay, so with you're kind of different because Joanne Honeycutt,
it's all on the same invoice.
And she and I talked about this yesterday. Which I don't know what the process is she told you, but what I told her was that when you all affiliate, if your CTE directors are paying for your chapter's invoices and your invoice, then you'll have to download those separately. So like you said, you're going to have an invoice for your chapter, and then you'll have an invoice for you. And so you'll need to download both of those and send those to her. And then she can like on her end, she could just calculate how much all of that's going to cost and then send it to nationals with all of those invoices attached so they know which invoices those payments need to be made towards. Does that make sense? Does anyone else have any other affiliation questions? So we went over the different affiliation types and the packages. Yeah, Lisa, you're fine.
Yes, I do. I was trying to type it in. Were you ready for it?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, I can't see anything, but I wrote down. Okay, so we were affiliating right before COVID, and we got the information back saying that it was okay to get started. And then that same day was our last day of school. So do I still need to go back and send that information in?
If you've already filled out the request to participate in one of those packages, then you don't have to do it again. Once you've done that survey, they've already changed it on the back end. Now, if you all choose, let's say that you did that survey and you no longer want to do that package, you will need to reach back out to nationals and let them know that you need to opt out, because what will happen is if you affiliate, it's going to charge you whatever package you had opted in for. So Lisa, for example, if you guys opted in for the up to 20 and now you're no longer going to have the ability to do that and you only affiliate 7, it's going to charge you the up to 20 instead of the 20.
Okay. Because I don't know when the packet started, but this was way back in March, so.
Oh, it's probably not then. These just started in August. Yeah.
Okay.
So you probably want to go back. And here's the thing: if you don't remember that you did the survey to opt into these affiliation packages, and you have to do it again, it'll be a duplicate, and they'll probably reach out to you anyway. So.
Okay. Well, this will be my first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer any questions that you had, Lisa?
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
Beth, did you hear the answer to your question, or do you want me to say it again?
I think I heard most of it that you had talked to Joanne. So Joanne had just told us to send her the invoice. So
yeah, I'm assuming. From what I've
She
received
knows
from
what
her,
to
is that she's paying for the advisors in her district as well as the affiliation package for a student. But so like I said, from my understanding, you're just going to send both invoices to her and then she'll pay for it all at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So are there any other questions regarding affiliation or concerns that you guys have at this time?
I had a question about affiliation. I'm still with Joanne Honeycutt with the affiliation. First of all, my first question is, should I start maybe a roster for my students, because I have different students this year than the ones that was in the portal? Should I do that even though I'm signed up for the survey? And then my next question is, will the once Joanne pay for everything, do that mean we still have to pay for that virtual leadership? Because I saw that you said that if we pay for the survey or the discounted affiliation, then we could do virtual leadership free.
So, and yeah, we're going to talk about that here in a minute too, but I can talk about that now as well. So for the first question, Pam, what was the first question again?
Do I have to, I'm sorry, that made me laugh. Do I have to like get the information for my students for affiliation, even though I signed up for the survey for 20 members, or like, do I have to?
So yeah, so you're just, now that you've signed up, did you get the email back from Nationals that they've
No, not yet.
Okay, so you can go ahead and start putting your students' information in the portal,
Okay.
but do not affiliate until they give you the go ahead, because what can happen is if you affiliate before they've said that you're good to go, and they didn't get it changed before you clicked affiliate and create your invoice, then they have to go back and we have to do a whole process of getting that invoice deleted. And so it's just easier if you guys wait until you get the email before you start. Like you can, like I said, you can go ahead and start putting their information in. Just do not click the affiliation button until you've heard from Nationals.
And you would advise me to do so now, right? Because I will have to call another meeting. But if that's what I have to do, I need to do like need to start
I mean,
now.
if you're doing, is she paying for the unlimited for you guys, or is it whatever you requested?
I requested the 20
Okay.
members. So
I mean, if the people, see, that's hard for me to make that decision for you. If the students that are in your portal are still going to be active members, then I would keep them. So that way they're affiliated.
okay.
However, if you have 20 students that you see right now, every single day that you know are committed and they're going to do things and, you know, just like the same effort that other kids put in, I mean, that's kind of your call. On who you keep on your roster and who you don't keep on your roster to pay that.
Okay.
Just know that after the 20th member, so for example, in the spring, if you have more students that would like to participate that you're not seeing now because you changed classes, they will go back to the regular affiliation cost. So their affiliation is going to be $14 a person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Katie, real quick too, just to add in there, for any of you guys too, and I'm Anna, by the way, from National FCCLA. I'm the membership assistant. I asked Katie if I could hop on the call today just to, you know, see some of the resources that she'll be giving you guys. But with the affiliation, if you do know that you'll have, let's say, for example, about 20 students by the end of the year that you will be affiliating, if you don't have all of the names of the students or all of their information to input them, as long as you've got one student, you can submit your affiliation, and like Katie said, you will be charged the full amount. But what will happen is there will just be empty membership slots. So then later on, when you do, when you have had a chance to collect all of that info from your students, you can just add them in, and their names will be added onto that invoice that was already created. They'll just automatically populate, and you won't get charged again if they do fall within that package if you opted in. So
thank you, Anna. I forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So there's a question in the chat that says, how do we start if we are only doing virtual? So hopefully some of the things that I'm going to cover today will give you guys some ideas on how to start if you're only doing virtual, because you guys are not, I think most of us that are in this call, if we're teaching, are doing virtual only right now. And then the other question is, did we get sent a packet this year with the posters? And I believe, thank you, Anna, that those are being mailed out to you all. So you should still get those membership kit packets from Nationals as well, with the posters and all the things that typically come with it that you can use to decorate your classrooms once we get the students back in the classrooms. So any other questions related to affiliation? Okay, so we're going to move on. So the next quick update was about virtual leadership experience and the skill demonstration event that's happening. So the virtual leadership experience, that you guys can start registering for that as well. Basically, it's going to be a platform that you all can use from December to February 12th in your classrooms. There's going to be tons of videos in there that highlight FCCLA programs and FCS career pathways. And then the videos will have resources that you can use in lesson plans and activities that you can use with your students in your classroom. So the whole point of the virtual leadership experience is to integrate this into your classroom and make it easy for you guys. So with the virtual leadership experience, it's going to be $150 flat rate fee per chapter. And you guys can find more information about that if you click the link here once I send this document to you all, or it's under the meetings and events section of the portal. For the virtual leadership experience, you have to be an affiliated chapter to register for virtual leadership. And once again, registration is going to be open until February 12th. So virtual leadership is going to be from December 8th to February 12th. So you guys have a ton of time that you all can use this. You could use the videos in your classrooms for bell ringer things, or maybe you just need a day to catch up on grading. I don't know. But however you need to use it, it's going to be there for you all to use. But just like it was brought up earlier, North Carolina is going to be doing an incentive for any chapter that is completely affiliated. So that means that you have students on your roster that's affiliated and you've made the payment. By October 16th, we will cover your virtual leadership experience registration. So we already have 3 schools that have already been affiliated, and I'm going to go ahead and send that information out today. It'll be later today about what you all need to do to make sure that you get that covered by us. But October 16th is the date for you all to be affiliated with a payment. And just like what Anna said earlier, you all can affiliate your chapters with like 2 kids in there. So if you want to make sure that you get the virtual leadership experience paid for by North Carolina FCCLA, then I recommend that you all go ahead and get a couple students in there and get your chapter affiliated, and then make that payment for whatever it's going to be. So for example, if you're not opting into one of the price reduction packages, the 12-member minimum is still there. So let's say you just want to go ahead and get affiliated. You'll register 5 kids. You will pay for 12 students. And then once your payment is made and your invoice is cleared, then I can go ahead and get you guys your virtual leadership experience registration stuff done. But that has to be done by October 16th. Do you all have questions on that? Yeah, so Beth's saying if you're in Wake County, get those invoices sent to her now. so we can get your virtual leadership experience stuff paid for in Wake County.
Yeah, she just said she won't pay for them until they're all in because they're only going to write 1 check. So
yeah.
Okay. How long is the turnaround? Like if we get it in by Monday?
For this, I'm working on them to send this stuff every few days. So obviously, like, I'd say give me 3 or 4 days, and then you'll get a confirmation too. So as soon as it's been completed, then you'll get a confirmation from me. So it could be earlier than 4 days. Obviously, it hasn't been done yet, so I don't know exactly how long the process is, but I don't expect it to be longer than a few days.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I want to get this done as quickly as possible because for your students to complete in to compete in any of the skill demonstration events that are going to be happening kind of along with virtual leadership, they have to be affiliated and they have to be registered for virtual leadership experience before they can be registered for a skill demonstration event. So skill demonstration events, those are open until October 26th. But when you all register your students for a skill demonstration event, you need to have had them complete the skill demonstration event with their video URL ready to go. So when you all complete the registration process, it's going to ask for the video link. And you need to make sure that's on there, because if you look right after registration ends, they're going to start validating URL links. And if your student's URL link is not a valid URL link, then they can't be scored. So you just make sure that by the October 26th that your students have been registered for skill demonstration events with their video if they're doing one of the events that require a video. Some of the events are challenge events, which means those are testing events. And so once they're registered, they should get an email with their like their portal of when they need to go in and complete their online challenge event testing. And that challenge event testing is taking place between November 2nd through the 6th. So with the skill demonstration events, they are allowing 3 members per chapter, per event, per level. So we have level 2 and 3, which is level 2 is 9th through 10th graders and level 3 is 11th and 12th graders. So you guys could have 3 9th and 10th graders and 3 11th and 12th graders compete in the variety of the events that are available. But once again, they do have to be affiliated and they have to be registered for virtual leadership experience before they can be registered for the skill demonstration events. Jenny asked in the chat box, do you want us to register and just not pay? You could, because I'm going to request your skill demonstration event invoice anyway. So if you wanted to go ahead and register for that. But my caution to you all is if you go ahead and register for virtual leadership experience, well, I mean, you can't, I'm thinking out loud. You can't do that unless you're affiliated. So if you're not an affiliated chapter, you're not going to have that option. So at that point, yeah, you can go ahead and register. You're going to send me the invoice for it anyway. But yeah, I hope I didn't confuse you all. I was thinking out loud. So once again, you want to affiliate. Once you're affiliated and you're paid, then you all can register for virtual leadership experience. If you've done that by October 16th, then you all will get emails from me on what to do next, but your virtual leadership experience will be paid for by North Carolina FCCLA, and then you can go ahead and start registering your students for skill demonstration events. So any questions on either of those, the virtual leadership or the skill demonstration event registration process? And if I talk too fast, y'all have to let me know. There's a lot of stuff and I get really excited to tell y'all about this stuff because I love it so much. All right, so we'll move on to the main reason we're here, which is about how can we use FCCLA in our family and consumer science classroom. The one thing that I want to make sure you guys are aware of, one, I'm going to be sharing a lot of different resources with you today. Some of you, it's going to overwhelm you. Some of you, it may not because you're aware of a lot of this anyway. But I want you to make sure not to get overwhelmed and start thinking about, as I'm talking about the different process or the different resources, think about how that resource would look in your classroom. What are you currently doing in your classroom with your students? What activities do you do in your classroom? And how would that resource kind of meld with what you're doing? If it's a resource that you're like, I'm going to have to put a ton of work into just to integrate this, then that may not be the resource for you. But there's a lot of different ways that FCCLA can be integrated. So just kind of think about, as I'm going through a lot of these resources, the easiest methods and the easiest ways it could be integrated with what you're already doing in your classroom. Okay. So we're going to first start with national programs. In my opinion, this is one of the easiest ways that you all could integrate FCCLA into your family consumer science classroom. You can do that by having your national program being the specific focus for your year, where you can plan out your activities or look at the activities you're already doing with your classes and see how it works with one of the national programs. I think this is a great way, or another great reason to integrate national programs is because if you complete a national program award, you have the opportunity for your students to get national recognition, as well as the opportunity to earn money for your chapter. So you can earn up to $1,000 as a high school award, middle school award, or high school or middle school can earn up to $500 with national program awards. Jenny Watson is our national program award queen because she gets one every year. So Jenny, do you have anything to add so far on this? I'm gonna put you on the spot. You don't have to if you don't want.
So no, well, not yet. I will add to it as you go through. How's that?
Okay.
But I just solely, you guys are already doing national programs. You just don't call it that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the national program that I won this past year was something that I did in my classroom, but I was going to do anyway. And so it's nothing that some of them, you don't need to do anything above and beyond what you're already doing. Okay. So an example, this past year, I won the Financial Fitness Award for for my students participating in EverFi's Future Smart. I'm middle school, so we did Future Smart. And in the years past, I've also won Student Body and that's nutrition and wellness. We did a nutrition and wellness and safety and mental health display at our at that point it was called the Dixie Classic Fair. That was part of our project. But we've won Stop the Violence 4 or 5 years in a row, which is now would be the Stand Up, because I do all the anti-bullying and kindness campaign with Unity Day, and then we also do a Random Acts of Kindness week during FCCLA week, and that becomes a Spirit Week. So yeah, I mean, I can go through each one of them. So when you're talking about mental health or you're talking about nutrition, then that's Student Body. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about anything related to or teaching anything related to family, that's Families First. So like, it doesn't have to be anything that is over the top for you to apply for these awards. Mm-hmm. Career Connection. Anytime you're talking about careers, which is in every single curriculum we teach, that's Career Connection. And so sometimes I'll do when we do like resumes and
job applications.
Yeah, job applications. That's a big part of our curriculums. And so any of those things, really work. And then I imagine most of you do some type of community service project. And it doesn't matter how small or how big, you never know. Like I said, I was floored when I turned in something that I just did in class, and it won. So you just never know what is going to win I guess the money and the awards. So yeah, certainly I can answer lots of questions about your national programs, but yeah, that's all I'll say for now. Katie, how's that?
Okay, that's good. Well, and so here's the thing is I started getting stressed out about this a little bit because there's like Jenny said, there's so many things that can be done with a national program. I was like, well, how do I give them all the information and all the ideas? Well, I can't do that. I can't give you guys a ton of ideas because I don't know what you're doing in your classroom and I don't know what you've already built into your curriculum. And unfortunately, I don't know all the curriculum either. So when I was in the classroom, I only taught apparel and textile production, I've taught interior design, and I've taught Foods 1, Foods 2, and then I also taught ProStart when that was a course. And so a lot of mine are kind of specific. So if you're teaching other things, I don't have a lot of that background either. So this is where I was saying too, think about the stuff that you use in your classroom and what you're doing already, and don't overthink it. So like I said, for example, Career Connection, a lot of that could be if you do personal interest surveys or surveys where it matches them with careers, that can be part of Career Connection. Or for financial fitness, if you guys have a bank that comes in and talks to your students every year, obviously this year it would be a virtual session that you could have. Take pictures of that. You could do a recording of that, and if they're doing it with each of your classes, that's a financial fitness national program. activity that you've done. So there's definitely a lot of things that you can think of. Definitely get your students involved. So if you're saying, hey, this would be a national program, this is a little bit of information about it, they can come up with some really good activities as well. So on this slide, when you get it, you all can click on the national programs and it will take you to the national program sheets where it will give you a little bit of information. Can you all see this sheet? The career connection sheet, perfect. So it's going to give you a little bit of information about it as well as the different units that are part of that specific national program. And when you look at the units, that will kind of help break down some more ideas for you all. So like, for example, the student body, like Ms. Jenny said earlier, the different units are the healthy you, the fit you, the real you, and the resilient you. Well, there's a ton of teachers that teach Foods 1 and Foods 2. And I remember in that curriculum that the students had to keep a weekly log of what they ate, and then they had to do a nutritional analysis. All right, that is the healthy you right there. So then you're just going to record, right, Lisa? Then you're just going to record and kind of take pictures of the different things that they're doing and stuff like that. And then you can submit that as a national program award. Or if you're doing like daily bell ringers where they have to do positive mindset things like journaling and stuff like that, that would still count for student body as either the real you or the resilient you. So one thing that I put together to hopefully make it easy, so it's like a step-by-step for the national programs, is a national program integration plan. That hyperlink is here. This is also on the North Carolina FCCLA website under national programs. So it basically is going to take you through 7 easy steps on how to integrate a national program. So it's you picking the national program that correlates to your course of study, selecting a unit that you want to focus on, and then you're using the planning process page just like our students use for their STAR events to go ahead and get the concern, get your goal, and get your plan started of how you're going to complete the national program with your students. And then you're going to implement and track your progress. So when you track your progress, that's you just taking pictures and making notes of like how many students are participating, and things like that. Then you will go back and finish the planning process sheet when you're done by doing the act and the evaluate. And the reason why these are in here is because you have to have that when you all submit your applications. And then you would complete your National Program Award application. So here's the good thing, advisors. This year, Nationals created a student portal. So all of our students can go in and log into their own portal and look at their information. Another really cool thing about the portal is that they're able to go in and complete these National Program Award applications. So you do not have to do anything. Once everything is done, you're going to give this to your best student that you have in your class that can be responsible and do this, and they're going to submit it for your chapter. And then once you're finished with that, there's a couple STAR events that you can use based off of what you've done. So they can compete in a couple STAR events. So that way you've done a national program and they can take all the things that you've already completed and put it in a STAR event. So they don't have to recreate a STAR event. It's already going to be done. They just might have to put the portfolio together or create their display board. So that's kind of just, like I said, the 7 easy steps, and you all can find that on the website as well. Power of One is another national program that for you all is going to be a really easy way to implement this, especially if you do bell ringers. This is a perfect thing to do. And I would actually implement Power of One. So how I would do it is I would give them one goal every 6 weeks that they had to complete. And then at the end of the semester, they've completed 3 goals towards Power of One. But you all could easily do 5 goals within a semester as well. So on this page, you all will find hyperlinks to some of the different activities that have been put together by Nationals for you. You have an introductory lesson plan. And here's the really cool part about this is our own Reagan Rhymes, who is the National Vice President of Programs from North Carolina, put together a lesson plan video. So when you click this link, it's going to take you to YouTube, where you literally can share this with your students and they can play the video while they do the lesson. So it's hands off for the teachers, and you all can have them do the Power of One introduction lesson plan. Like, we're all virtual, right? So just assign it to them as an assignment in Google Classroom or Canvas and have them do that way. And then on this slide is all of the things that they need. So in the video, Reagan's going to walk them through the pre and post assessment, where you can click and it will pull up an editable PDF that you all can use with your students. It will also pull up an editable introductory note-taking guide that you can share with your students. And then they just save this to their computer and they will upload when they're finished. You're also going to find on here an editable project sheet. So this is the sheet that they would go through and start planning out their goal. So for example, Power of One has 5 units. The first one is a better you, where they're planning a goal on how to become a better person. And so they would use this project sheet to go through and identify the concern, set their goal, form their plan, and then go through the checklists, the act, the follow-up, and then follow-up checklist where you have the opportunity to go in and review and sign as well. You also will have a project rubric that you could use. So when they complete this Power of One project sheet, and when they turn it into you, then you have an editable grading formula here. So you can just go in and say, okay, they completed this, they get 2 points. They completed this, they completed this. And so they would get 15 points. And then at the very end, after they completed all 5 goals with Power of One, then you as the teacher also has a point tracker sheet. So you can go in and assign point values for each of the things that they have to complete and turn in, for a grand total of this project of 150 points for your class. So to me, when I was in the classroom, this would be amazing because I don't have to do anything else. There's already a video that's going to guide the students through the lesson plan. And then all of this is editable PDFs that you can share with your students and they complete on their own and send back to you with ever Canvas or Google Classroom or whatever method you're using. All right, so for national programs, what questions, comments, or concerns do you guys have so far? And you can just unmute and ask the question, or you can put it in the chat box.
So Katie, I don't know if everybody saw the chat, but I just want to say, you need to kill as many birds as you can with one stone. I'm not a violent person, but I'm using that, if that makes sense. So if you do a national program, that's also classwork and curriculum, that also can become a star event, and it can also be one of their Power of One, part of their Power of One, depending on what you're doing. Especially the Speak Out for FCCLA and the Take the Lead parts, that can be, you know, one of that. And then I also do a grade, actually I do multiple grades for each Power of One because I think they put so much time and effort in it. And then my bell work, now I start Power of One next week, so we'll see how it works virtually. But my bell work has always been, as they come in, they document what they've done on Power of One. And so I just kind of, and that kind of keeps them in check as well, because they're like, oh no, I didn't do anything. But after the first week or so, they kind of get back in the groove of that. So I'm going to see, I'm in a strange situation where I'm going to be teaching live and virtual at the same time. So I'm not sure how it's going to work, but I'll let you know when I get it figured out. But just, yeah, use as many things as you can, you know, for one thing.
And I didn't get to say this, so I wanted to also let you all know, with the Power of One, if your students complete all 5 units and then they complete the recognition application and you submit that by, I think it's February 1, it might be March 1. No, it's February 1. They get recognition for completing that Power of One at the state level and the national level. So if you are, especially for those of you guys that are doing the unlimited affiliation and you have students who you wouldn't think, like they never get recognized for anything because they're not an athlete, here's your perfect opportunity to get them recognition. And then you might have them back in your chapter next year because they've received that recognition that they're typically not getting from anything else. So once again, the Power of One is 5 units. It's all individual goal setting. It's all individual. They set their 5 goals, implement their 5 goals, and then they can get state and national recognition for that. So any other questions on national programs? Okay. So another thing, or some other resources that are available for you guys to use in your classrooms are partner contests. So these are contests hosted by partners that Nationals has created a partnership with. And so it's just different things that you can do in your classroom that gives you the opportunity to earn money for your students and your classroom. So the first one is the Taking Down Tobacco Challenge by the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. And so right now, I think Nationals is still working on that partnership for the 2020-2021 school year. But there is still a chance for chapters to complete this and earn or win a chance for $500 by December 2020. So basically what you can do to make this virtual is, or basically what they have to do is you have to present up to 100 students, train up to 100 students on their Taking Down Tobacco 101 training. Or what I would recommend that you all do, because I don't know how many of you all love to do Zoom chats with your students and how participatory they are. Going off of my son's Zoom classes that I'm a privy to, they don't really participate. What you can do is you can assign this as an assignment to your students. So you can go to read more about it on that hyperlink here, but this is what I did last year. I went into the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. I created my own account. It gives you a dashboard, and then it gives you the instructions on how your students can create their own accounts and get to the courses you want them to take. So what I did is I created this as an assignment for my food students because it relates back to making healthy choices. And so their assignment was they had to go in, create an account. They had to make sure that when they created the account, they linked it to our school, and then they had to take one of these courses. So it was the Taking Down Tobacco 101 course or the Rise of Vaping course. And then when they're finished with the course, Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids gives them a certificate of completion. So they do have to answer questions, that it's not just them watching a video. And then I required that they turned in the certificate of completion into Google Classroom, because that was the platform I used for the grade. So every student that did that and turned in the certificate of completion, I gave them a grade for that as the assignment. And so what you all can do is I also worked with my PE teachers. So I sent this to them and gave them some ideas on how they can implement it with their students. Because your goal is to train up to 100 students by December of 2020. Because Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids is going to do a drawing for 6 chapters across the nation to win $500 for their chapter. So this could be money that you all would put into your chapter account that you can use to help offset, fingers crossed, our Nashville trip for nationals, or anything else that might be needed for your classroom or your students. But this is just one thing that you can do. Once the partnership has been created for this year, I'm assuming the one that where you train up to 20 will come back. But right now, this is what you all could use if you wanted to do it, just training up to 100 students by December of 2020 on either of these courses, and then you could be entered for a chance to win the $500. In addition to that, if you're going to do this, you could use your efforts to use this as the National Program Award application for student body. So you're, like what Jeannie said, it's knocking out a bird with 2 stones. Or your students could use this as a public policy advocate star event project. So that's kind of however you would like to use that. But I will say this was super easy when I did this last year. So like all I had to do was give them the instructions on how to create the account, and then the assignment link to turn their certificate back in, and that's all I had to do. So that's just an idea. Another partner contest that's out there is the state level FACTS award. So FACTS is the Families Acting for Traffic Safety. So this is a project that you all could do, any project related to traffic safety. So it could be a seatbelt check at your school when you guys return back to school. The Ford Driving for Life skill, no, I can't think of it now. Ford Driving Skills for Life has an application called the Academy, and I actually sat through this the other night because I wanted to see how it worked. And so what it does is it's an online platform that your students can go in, and you can require that they complete all the videos. Each video has like a post assessment that they have to do that proves that they watched the video or they know a little bit about safe driving. And then it gives them a certificate of completion as well. And so that could be maybe your project that you do with your kids, is that you require so many of your students to do that. And then you will submit that as your national program award for the FACTS national program. And then each state's Governor's Highway State Association will pick a top project from each state to win a $500 cash prize. And Jenny, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but have we ever had anyone in the past few years submit a FACTS national program? Because I don't recall that.
Yes, I know there were quite a few last year.
Okay.
And we had a state winner.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. They're Wake County. I just lost the school's name. I'll put it in the chat in a second. As soon as it comes to me. But Johnston County. It's Johnston County.
But the competition's not that big, right? It's not that a huge number of people. That's
not yet. That's one of our goals, is certainly, to get it larger. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you did a traffic safety project and you completed a national program award for the Families Acting for Traffic Safety national program, you not only have a chance to win the $500 cash prize for our state, but then you also go into trying to win the national recognition and the money that Nationals is providing for their national program applicants as well. So there's kind of some more money that you can win for your chapter. And once again, this can be used for STAR events, the National Programs in Action STAR event or Public Policy Advocate STAR event. So there's a couple STAR events that could be used for this as well. And Lead for Change is another partner that FCCLA has. So it's a student leadership program, and our state officers actually just completed, or they're working through this program as well. And it's basically a program that allows your students to learn leadership skills while they plan a service learning project. Here's why it's amazing for advisors and teachers, is because all you do is you register for your account, and all of the lesson plans are created for you. So you can share out the lesson plans with all of the activities that your students have to complete in editable PDFs, or you can merge them as a Word document or a Google Doc for your students to complete and turn into whatever learning management system that you use. And then you can just assign them points for whatever you want those lesson plans to do. But at the end, it's a 6-week track or a 12-week track. But regardless of the duration that you do it, at the end of that time, your students will have created a STAR event, or a service learning project. And then what you can do here is your students can create, go in and do the challenge dashboard, and then they have a chance to win up to $10,000 for your school or for the charity of their choice. This can also be used in the Community Service National Program Award application, or if you do a specific focus like the state officers this year, their Lead for Change project will be focused on mental health. So that could be a student body national program application award. So that's just another resource out there. All the lesson plans are already created, so you can just push this to your students. They could be great bell ringer assignments, or if you just need a day to get caught up on grading or something like that, y'all, I know that you need it. That could be an activity that you do with your students as well. Now, on the lessons, it provides videos that you can have your students watch that you all can do together as a class, or they can watch individually as well. And then literally it's all put together for you. So it makes it super, super easy for you all to do. And then the last partnership resource available is the Knowledge Matters simulation. So these are like another event challenge simulation. And so they're free to participate in for affiliated members, and then your students can do this individually or in a team up to 3, and you all can have unlimited teams per chapter. So in these virtual business challenges, students can compete in the personal finance challenge that tests their financial literacy skills, or they can participate in the fashion challenge that tests their ability for a simulated fashion business. And so you all, like I said before, this could be something that you do with your students as like bell ringer activities. So they have to work every 10 minutes a day on the simulation. And so the rounds will be October 20th through November 13th. and then they'll have a second round, and your students can compete in both rounds if they wanted to, from February 1 to February 26. So this could be maybe your students in the spring. And then this is also another chance for your students to earn more money. And so these are actually national, like if they first place over the national challenge, then they would earn $1,000. But it's gamified, so it makes it fun for the kids. So they go in and there's like different challenges and things mess up, so they have to figure out what's going on. And stuff like that. So if that's something that you might be interested in using, then you can click on the Virtual Business Challenge. It will take you to their website, and it will give you all of the information you need on how to register for competition and get your students registered as well.
Okay, on the prior slide, the one before that, is that something that you could do like in your FCCLA meetings with the students who have joined, just to kind of give you all kind of focus on something that you could be working towards at each meeting?
I would actually highly encourage that. I know I've heard from several advisors and they're just like, we just don't even know how to start. And if you're in that place, then start here. Then start with Lead for Change, because like you said, and like I've said before, all the lessons are already created, and it literally takes them from the personal assessment of evaluating themselves to working together as a team to pick a focus on what they want their project to be about. So that would be a great one. And so that kind of gets your program of work completed for the year, because then you know what you're going to be working on. But if you're integrating this into your classroom, you could do this as a class. So you all could kind of go through each activity and do some, maybe like you're leading the discussion with your students on what they want to pick. Or you could kind of assign it out as like, hey, everybody, you can do this on your own, or you can have up to a group of 3 and they can kind of work on this on their own as well. And I say up to a group of 3 because a lot of the stuff that they might do in this Lead for Change project could be done as a STAR event project. And with STAR events, team events can only be up to 3 students. So it would kind of be bad to have 6 students, and then if they really wanted to use it as a STAR event, they all couldn't use it. So any questions on the partner contest or the partner resources? I will say I've always wanted to use the virtual business challenges in my classroom, and now that I'm not an advisor, it makes me sad. I'm like, oh, I wish I would have just done it. Okay. All right, so then we have competitive events that we're all familiar with. So we do have skill demonstration events, and then we have normal competitive events that we focus on for state leadership. Skill demonstration events, these are, we have skill-based events and then challenge events. So skill-based events are basically mastering the specific skills, while the challenge events are mastering specific content. And if you look, there's skill demonstration events on the skill-based event and the challenge-based event for pretty much any course that we teach. So I really like the idea, especially for our fall students, to use the skill demonstration events because they're like culinary food art. If you're a food teacher, you know that that's one of the things that you're going to teach about. And that would be a creative project that you could go ahead and give your students right now, like culinary knife skills. I know that in Foods 1 and 2 and culinary, that's what they're going over. So why not just go ahead and implement this? The guidelines and the scoring rubric is already created for you. So you don't have to do any of that thought process. It's already created. You just print it off, or you can, just print it off and use it to score their videos that they would upload for you. And then you have, there's like another sheet here where you can read more about the events. But all of this is in the competitive events guidelines in the chapter portal. So when you open that up, it's going to have the skill demonstration events and the regular competitive events in there as well. And then these are the different skill demonstration events, and just like a couple pictures that might help you. So like culinary food art, they have to showcase food art using a children's book as the inspiration. Fashion sketch, if you're teaching apparel and textile production, they have to do it based on a famous painting or a work of art. Your FCCLA creed could be, that's for all of our first time members up to grade 10. So this would be a great opportunity if you're teaching a lot of freshmen to require that as an assignment for your class. It's going to give them public speaking skills, because I don't know about you all, but my students hated talking in front of people, and they would like cry to get out of the project. So that could be a good idea to go ahead and get them started on grade 9. If you're teaching interior design, we have interviewing skills. And if you're going to implement these projects into your classroom, then go ahead and do the legwork and start that as your national program award as well. So like for interviewing skills, that falls right under Career Connection. And another thing is, because your students, if you look at the skill demonstration event guidelines, it's all in there that your students are submitting this stuff as videos. So if they're submitting their assignments as videos, then you don't have to grade it, because you're going to see if there's people in your industry, or if you have friends that would like to score their projects for you, then you're going to let your friends score the project, so you don't have to grade anything. And you just take the grade and put it in PowerSchool. That's what I did, because I didn't want to be biased on their projects, because I know how hard some of my students work and how little most of them work too. So that was just kind of a run through. And then I'm going to ask and get questions in a minute, because I'm going to kind of go through this because we're all somewhat familiar of competitive events. But basically, using competitive events or skill demonstration events are a good idea, because it's project-based learning. And that's kind of something that DPI is already starting to move towards with some of our classes, of doing project-based learning at the end to really showcase that our students are learning what they need to learn. And they're so easy to implement, because like I said before, all you have to do is go to the competitive events guide, print out the guide sheet, print out the scoring rubric, and then that's it. That's all you have to do. Give it to your students, tell them this is what the project is, this is what you have to do, and then you already have the scoring rubric on how they're going to be graded that you can share with them and that you will use to grade. And there might be some things on there that doesn't apply to your students or to your class, and all you have to do is get your Sharpie out and mark through the things that don't apply. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel and restart over and recreate and all of these things, because it's already there for you. So what I've done on this is I've kind of went through and, like, based on some of the 4 main areas of our, just our main subjects. I've pulled out like a list of competitive events that would be good for that. So I'm going to share this with you all so you can scroll through as well. But I will say, every course, these events work for every single course. For career investigation, they have to look up a career. And then for that one, I think depending on their level, they have to do some job shadowing and stuff like that. But once again, if it doesn't relate, then just mark it out. The instructional video design is actually a really cool competitive event that you can have them do. Like, for example, in apparel textile production, one of the skills they have to know is how to thread a sewing machine. So that could be my assignment. Okay, I've shown you how to do it. Now you're going to do the instructional video design, and you're going to create an instructional video on how to thread the sewing machine. And then they would turn that in, and I already have their scoring rubric made for me, because I'm going to print it off of the STAR event sheet. And then you have job interview is one that could be easily implemented. The professional presentation is another one that's super easy. That's basically they're presenting information to the class, which I think we all typically have our students do that at some point in our classes to reflect what they've learned. So yeah, all of these would relate to all of our courses. But like I said, with competitive events, all you need to know is download that competitive events guide, pick the STAR events or the skill demonstration events that you want to use, print off those sheets, kind of mark out with a Sharpie what doesn't work for your students, mark it out on your scoring guide sheet, and that's all you have to do. It's super easy to implement those into your course. And I love doing that for like objective skill mastery, so specific objectives. Instead of giving them a test, I would have them do a competitive event project. So any questions, comments, or concerns on competitive events? So that would be skill demonstration events or the normal competitive events that we do.
Okay, I needed to understand one thing. So normally when we would be getting ready for, and I just say this because I've just been observing,
You're fine.
there would be something in Greensboro, state
Mhm.
level, right?
Yep.
So in lieu of that, what are the kids getting ready for?
So right now, if you know
Mhm.
you're going to do virtual leader, I would have them get ready for virtual leadership experience. So do
Which
the,
which
go
would be
ahead.
kind of turned in as a state event type thing?
So the skill demonstration events are only for the virtual leadership. So that would be at the national level. At the state level, we're still going to have competitive events. We just haven't, that decision hasn't been made of whether we're still going to have an in-person event or a virtual event.
Okay.
And I can't make that statement right now. So, but that decision has been made. Now they can go ahead, like I understand most of our kids are starting to look at what competitive events are available. We're still going to have competitive events, even if state leadership goes virtual. It just won't look the same as an in-person event. So they can still work on that. But like you said, if they're doing, like for your students, if they're doing their Lead for Change project, then I would only have them focus on that right now.
Okay.
Yep. Or if you all decide using a national program is the best resource, then they only need to focus on that right now. Because all of that's going to segue into the creation of a STAR event later.
Okay.
So any other questions for competitive events? Okay. So I want you guys to leave today with a game plan because like I said before, I know that I shoved a ton of information at you. There was a lot of stuff to share. But I want you guys to really think about one thing. So you're only going to take one thing away from this and implement it because you're already overworked right now with trying to prep for a ton of different classes. And you're going, like Jenny said, next week she's going virtual and in person. And I can't imagine trying to teach that way. So there's already so much stuff going on. Just pick one thing and that's your focus. So questions to reflect on that might help you narrow in is, did we talk about anything that excited you? Was there any programs that pulled out that excited you? And you all can share them now if you would like to. So was there anything that we talked about today that like really lit your fire and you were like, that is what I'm doing? Is there anything that stood out to anybody?
That's the problem. Everything is so exciting and I'm always like, I don't know what to do, but I'm meeting with someone tomorrow that's going to help me. So I'm happy about that. I guess I want to ask Jenny, you did talk, are you still there, Jenny? I see your picture.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so you talked about how you use the things for the bell ringers. Do you all take like, I don't know, like maybe 20 minutes on Friday, or do you have like a certain day every week that you're working on something with your, like I get confused between the class and then the club.
So I try not, and I've been teaching for quite a while. This is actually my 20th year. And I started incorporating them together. So I tell my students, FCCLA and FCS are like salt and pepper, they're married, whatever you want to say it, right? And so I don't necessarily, and I tell them the beginning of the year, I'm not going to say this is FCCLA, this is FCS, because they are together. And everything that we do in FCS, there are 10 things in FCCLA that you could probably do with it. Now, I put in the chat, because a couple of years ago, I published, and it still may be on the website, Katie, I don't know, you can answer that question. I made a new advisor's checklist. If you're fairly FCCLA, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'll go look for it right now.
And so what I recommend is I recommend that you start small with Power of One. Power of One can be used in so many things, and then I use that as my bell work, and they document what they've done in Power of One. That's the goal setting one. They still can get, you know, national, state and national awards with that, and that looks so good on the resume and college apps and everything else. Then maybe you pick one other national program you want to work on. Maybe it's community service. Maybe you teach foods 1 and 2 and you want to do student body because of the nutrition aspect. You know, whatever you're teaching, pick one. And then I would pick, and I don't mind working with you guys individually, and I'm sure Katie doesn't either. I would choose, yeah, exactly. Me too. I would choose a couple of STAR events. I will tell you, I still only do, and for 20 years now, have done basically the same STAR events. Now, once in a while, because that way you learn and you grow yourself too, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And also at the same time, once in a while, I will try something new that I have a student, they're like, what about this? And I'm like, okay, let's try it, you know? But most of the time I have stuck with the same STAR events. Now over the years, you know, so I would start small. I would try to incorporate, like I said, I start with an introduction to FCCLA, and then I'm introducing Power of One starting next week. And so, you know, certainly that's how I do it. And then and then, like I said, they really don't know the difference between what we do as FCS and FCCLA because it's so intertwined once you get started. And so try not to get confused trying to separate it because there is no separation, if that makes sense. That's what's so great about FCCLA is they have strategically done that so that we can use all of these resources and they're there for us.
Okay.
So just like with the Power of One, you can say, hey, we're working on goal setting this week. There you go. And so it's just, you're implementing another resource that you're pulling from with the content that you need to have. And I know, I mean, goal setting is not in all of our, like specifically an objective in all of the content, but it's important for our kids, right? They need to know how to have goal setting to like do our projects. And I mean, we're family consumer science teachers. We're teaching our kids for life. Like we're teaching them life skills, and goal setting is a huge skill that they need. They don't know how to set goals. And even students that I had that I was like, oh, they're fine. No, they did not have, they had like a little wimpy statement and then they didn't have a plan to go with.
Well, and same thing with SMART goals. They don't know how to set a SMART goal. And so I also introduced.
Don't know either.
I'm just introducing, I introduce SMART goals, short-term, long-term. I introduce all that kind of together when I'm introducing Power of One. Now I'm at middle school, so it works perfectly because it's my curriculum. But you could do, like if you're teaching foods 1 or 2 and you're focusing on nutrition, do a better you, but make them, or require them, I shouldn't say, whatever you want to use that verb, let them do something related to their health, right? What can they improve? Is it less screen time? Well, it is, I know. But is it drinking more water and less soft drinks? They could do some kind of goal related to their health or mental wellness, whatever you're covering. So you can kind of make sure Power of One kind of works with whatever you're doing. And then one of Power of One of them is working on working, which is career readiness. So I know all of us are doing that. So, you know, at least I hope so for CTE teachers. Yeah. But so, you know, you can kind of look at and kind of make sure it kind of fits better within what you're teaching too.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Like I said, reach out to either one of us. I'll be glad to help you. I know Katie is too. So reach out to us and we'll be glad to help you with any questions or resources or whatever you need.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So our last share out before we leave is just you guys getting to give me feedback on things that you're doing now that's working that can be shared with other advisors across the state, or other, what concerns or obstacles are you having, or what support do you need? And you all met Anna earlier. So Anna's with membership from Nationals. So she's in here too, because she's trying to think of some ideas that Nationals could implement for you all to make it a little bit easier, because they're getting some of the same concerns that I'm hearing as well about advisors are overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. So this is your chance to go ahead and give us all of the information that we need of how we can help you all, what resources we could create to help you guys, or make sure that you're aware of that's already available. So what do you have for us today? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I didn't want to, I wanted to give somebody else a chance to talk, but okay, so I think I finally have, I know that my chapter's affiliated and I'm now assigned to it. So I think that's taken care of. So I did send out an interest for kids that were interested. The only thing I didn't know was whether to charge them or not. So we just got an email on Wake County that they're going to help, but I guess that means that the kids that were interested, they don't have to pay anything? Is that my understanding?
Or which county are you from?
Wake.
Beth, are you still in here?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I think my computer's working.
So
what?
I know that we got a form to fill out. Yeah.
So did you fill out? Okay, so you went in. Did you affiliate yet? Do you have students in there?
Okay,
And-
so I know that we are a chapter, and
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
the advisor. And so there, when I opened it up today, I just saw that there's a student that I think needs to be graduated. But other than that, no, I didn't know what to do next. It's, to
Okay,
follow
so
the order.
the next thing. Yeah, the next thing you need to do is add members so that you have members to affiliate. So depending on if
Okay.
you requested like the 20 member or if you did like the whole program, once you get that email, then you, like Katie was saying, then you can hit the affiliate button and then that will submit an invoice and that invoice needs to go to Danita. So
Danita, okay.
yeah, Danita Whiting. So
So
depending on.
Is it a bad idea to do a last call type thing or another, hey, if you're interested, join?
Which package are you using?
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't know. I didn't know if I signed up for one or I don't know.
Oh.
I know all the questions or forms that I filled out. I knew that I had maybe 15 interested, and it could go up only because some teachers may not let their students know.
So I would go ahead and get those students in and then click the affiliation.
Okay.
Well, not if you haven't done, if you're trying to do one of those the discount programs, you have to do that first.
But they're going to need to know which package you're.
Yeah.
So I think if you're not sure right now which package you're able to do, you need to ask Joanne that. You need to ask her which package you're able to do. If you're able to do the up to 20, then how many students do you have right now?
That filled out the Google form, I have 15.
So what you can do is just go ahead and affiliate those 15, and then you would have 5 spots to fill in later.
Okay.
So you're going to get charged for the 20. If you told Joanne, I want to do the up to 20, then you're going to go ahead. That's the one you'll select on the participate survey for nationals. That's the one that they'll submit for your affiliation. And then, change for your affiliation on chapter portal backend. And then you will just affiliate your 15 students. And like Anna said earlier, then you're going to have 5 spots that you'll have to reach 20 members throughout the year. And then like we said earlier, once you hit 20 members, then that rate's gone. You've already used it. You won't receive any more invoices, but the 21st member after, you will get invoiced for them, and that'll be at the $14 rate.
That's crystal clear. That makes sense now. Okay.
Yeah. So here, if I was still in the classroom and my CTE director was willing to go ahead and pay for the unlimited package, I would do that, because you can get all of your students involved. If all of your students do the power of one, then all of your students are going to get recognized at state and national level. So that's going to look really good on your program.
Okay. All right. I'll look into that. And thank you for.
Yeah, you're welcome.
helping me
So,
out.
yeah, anything else that you guys, Tammy said, let me go back up to hers. Or it's not Tammy, I'm sorry. Teresa Little said a simple checklist with dates. And I'm assuming, Teresa, if you're still on here, would that be like upcoming dates and deadlines, or what do you mean? I don't know if you're still on here. So if you aren't, I'm just talking to myself. All right. If you all didn't know, there are updated dates on the North Carolina website as well, under dates and deadlines on the right-hand side. Once again, at the very top, it'll tell you tentatively we're planning for an in-person event. Once the board makes that decision, if it goes virtual, then all those dates will change. But right now, we're scheduling for in-person events for culinary, baking and pastry, and state leadership conference. So just so you know, those probably will change. So anything else that we can provide for you all that maybe would be more helpful in streamlining the processes, or something that you're thinking of that you need?
I had a question about the PowerPoint, and because it had a lot of information on it. Will you send that as well as the recording?
Yes, ma'am. So as soon as I'm hoping that I will be able to put all this up on the Moodle tonight. Last time that we did this, it took me forever because the recording accidentally deleted. So I had to go back in and find it. So that will not happen this time. But yeah, so the recording and this PowerPoint will be uploaded for you guys in the Moodle under the FCS Education Discussion Forum. So I will put that there. And actually it'll be under the Collaboration Station link post, how I did it last time. Are you all getting the emails that I send out? Okay, good, because I've been using the portal for that, and I want to make sure that everybody's getting those. And then everybody's getting the fast facts from nationals and stuff like that. Perfect, because those come with a lot of information as well, and dates and deadlines as well. And if you're not getting those, you can just send me the email and I can look into that for you. So any other questions, comments, concerns, or anything that you all would like to share with us that maybe we can provide for you?
I was just going to share, I just got these today, the new FCCLA masks. I got them for my officers who are all on Zoom. So I've been going by their house and leaving it like at their mailbox, their notebooks and stuff. But these are really cool. They're foam, but they fit okay, and they've got FCCLA. So
are they the neoprene?
They are.
Okay.
It's like a foam, and they're reversible. You could do black. They don't have FCCLA on the black side, but just the red side.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
How many of you all have met with your students? Has anybody else other than Sherry met with their students? You could do a little raise hand if you have.
I have.
Gwen has, Beth has, awesome. We need pictures. So could you all send me pictures? Like, I know that it's going to be like a Zoom picture, but if you all, like if you're in your Zoom with your kids, could you all like take a picture and send it so we could start sharing stuff like that on social media? That would be awesome.
It's going to be a whole bunch of black screens with names.
Tell them they have. They're going to be highlighted on Instagram. They need to show up for that picture.
They can. I cannot get them to turn on their camera. I'm like, don't y'all want to speak? And they're like, nothing.
That's how it was when I did Zooms last year. I was like, really? Okay. But see, Russell's school, he's in 8th grade in Craven County, and they're required to have they're required to have it on. So, like, well, but.
So we'll do 6th graders because they are so excited to be on the camera.
Yeah, because it's new to them.
Or you can now make an announcement if you want to be in this picture. If not, leave class.
Yeah. All righty. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions or anything like that, I don't want to take up more of your time. I hope that you all have found one thing that you're going to go ahead and start implementing and making it work in your classrooms. If you need anything, please feel free to reach out to me. Advisor support is probably my favorite part of this job. And so that's what, if I could do more of it, I would love to be able to do more of it. Jenny is also a great resource for national program stuff. She does them every single year. So if you all have anything that you need, just reach out and let us know, okay?
When's the next meeting?
It is I want to say the 22nd, but I don't think it's the 22nd. I think it's earlier than that. Let me double check. This is where I should have had my calendar pulled up.
Because I came and sat down, and then it sent me a reminder 4 minutes before the time it started. And so I had forgotten. And so then I was like, okay, I want to write this down because I don't want to be late next time.
You're fine. It's on the 22nd.
A Thursday. Okay.
Yep.
At 4.
Yep, ma'am. And then I will probably, I was talking to Valerie about this earlier. We will probably go ahead and keep doing these every other Thursday, probably till January or February. I think we'll just rotate topics and do some highlights and things like that to give you all some time to share out things you need.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have a great evening. Have a great weekend. Are y'all off Monday? Is anybody off Monday?
No.
Well, y'all have a good weekend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.